You want to improve at chess, and even though watching all of the YouTube tutorials, you have minimal results. And that is because you have been listening to the wrong chess teachers. But now you have me, and I give away all of the practical tips that will help you actually explode your chess elo without gatekeeping anything from you. If you don't trust me, in the previous video, I already showed you how important your opening is and then how I convert a position. I was up a pawn, but it's a doubled pawn, so it wasn't really felt. And then I learned you the difference between a winning position and a win condition and how I use that vague tip very practically to win a position. If you listen to other chess teachers, they will just tell you there is a difference between a winning position and a win condition. By the way, I never heard that advice, but I made that up because it's very helpful. The difference between a winning position and a win condition is that a winning position is something like more material, a better structure, more activity, but a win condition is a way to win a game. And the only two ways of winning a game is by either checkmating your opponent's king, so having a checkmating attack, or having a passed pawn and make it so that your passed pawn can promote. So I was up a pawn, but it wasn't really felt. And I used that vague advice to make a plan, and my plan was then to force a passed pawn. And I succeeded and converted the position quite easily because of it. And the only way that I actually converted it was because I was thinking about how do I win the position and what are the priorities of my position. Didn't just make some random moves that look fine. I actually thought about what are the priorities in this position, and I saw that the only way I win the position is by making a passed pawn. Then I thought about, okay, what is the most easy way of making a passed pawn? It is by making my extra pawn into a passed pawn, and I proceeded to do that, and that just won me the game. By the way, usually you should take, but I'm not really convinced, I think. The point being that if I just take, you take, there is nothing. But if I just move, this is not a threat because I win a pawn. And even if that doesn't win a pawn, it's not a threat. So I'm actually more inclined to move the bishop. Usually you should take, but I feel like this bishop might be very useful just monitoring all of this. He might trade it, by the way. Then I think I'm forced to take. Yeah, I'll probably be. Oh, I don't know what that does. So my opening was quite good. There were some improvements which we will go over right now. If you're confused, this is my opening course, which should help you trying to and memorize and understand your openings because all other chess teachers to do tell you to do one of them, but that will lead you into a position where you will still need their help for everything because either you memorize your openings are fantastic, but you don't understand anything of the middle game, and then you will keep watching them for the middle games, or you will only understand your openings and make constant mistakes in the openings and watch your chess teacher to understand your openings even further, but that will only get you that far. You have to do both, and this course will help you. So we are inside of a Carcom, and a Carcom you don't have to memorize everything. It's a very system-based opening, which means that if you know the patterns and understand your openings, you will get 90% of the way. After take and take, by the way, I only included from the game knight to f3, knight to f3, and here c3. My opponent opted to go for c3, and guess what? Just get your knight out. He will probably get his knight out, and we transpose. A lot of the games will just transpose. If you understand the patterns and have the experience that you know all of the obvious mistakes, because you will lose your first 100 games here and there just for stupid tactics that you didn't know yet and you didn't know the pattern of yet. But you really have to know the patterns and you will be golden. So, what the thing is, by the way, for the long term viewers that watch all of my videos, which is probably like 5 of you, but whatever, I switched my layout. Let me know in the comments if you like it more or not. I switched practically all of my layouts, so in the next video, you will see the other layout, which I switched a lot about. So here I should have played bishop to f5. I did play bishop to g4, but later in the game, after h3, I played bishop f5, so that doesn't actually make sense. If you play your bishop out to g4, it is to take, but in this situation, you will probably not take the knight. And that is something I really want to teach you. I got to like 1300 without any courses or books or anything, just very, very deep chess analysis and YouTube channels like me. So what I got from this is that I made a mistake, and I will now try to formulate a principle that I will keep in mind anytime I get to this position to not make the same mistake again. So I played bishop to g4, and after the game proceeded after h3, I went back. So if I played f5, he played h3, now it is my move, but after g4, h3, going back to f5, now it's his move. So I just gave him a free move by dancing the salsa with my bishop, which does not make any sense. So I will try to formulate a principle so I don't make the same mistake twice. And the point is that I play bishop to g4 to pin this knight and potentially take it if it's useful. But with this pawn chain, probably taking the knight will never be useful because this is a very, very solid center. And the knight will go to d2, so every time I take it, he will just take back with a knight and nothing has changed. I traded my quite but not incredibly strong bishop for this horrendous knight, which does not really have a very forward future. Um, so it doesn't make sense to put the bishop on g4 because it will never take the knight. So I will formulate the principle. Anytime I want to move the bishop to one of these, I should think about, do I want to take this knight? If the answer is no, put it on f5. And that's how you improve. So if that will help you, subscribe. By the way, thanks a lot for the subscriptions. I got like, I think 5 extra subscriptions in 2 days, which is incredible for me at this point. So thank you a lot for the growth. And if you want to be part of this growing community, you know the button. So I should have played my bishop to f5, and after he basically copies me, I can go knight to c6. If he plays anything that looks a lot like other Korokons and you play a lot of games inside of this course and you know the lines, you will know what to do. The only unique line is something like queen to b3, where we have to play queen to c8. Obviously, we cannot go to these two because of the bishop, and if we play queen to d7, we can get hit with something like bishop to b5 and knight to e5. And I know that out of practice and experience. The only way you know all of the patterns and all of the losing sequences is by losing a lot. If you play new openings and lose a lot of games, you should just think about, did I get any new patterns? Did I get any new information? If the answer is no, okay, probably you should switch openings. But if you knew more principles, more lines, more patterns, stick to it. So that's why we play queen to c8 to not get hit with a pin and then a knight hitting our queen, hitting our knight. And after the knight hits our queen, it will have to go to c8 anyway. So let's go to c8 instantly. And that's also something I want to teach you. If you put a piece somewhere and it can get attacked, where would you move your piece after it gets attacked? If, for example, you want to play queen to d7, but you are scared of knight to e5, and then you would put your queen on c8, just put it on c8 now. That's how easy it is. And that's how I get a lot of moves in classical games, by the way. So after he just develops the knight, we will play h6, just stopping any pressure, nothing special. A lot of these things will transpose. You will see now h6 happens. He moves the bishop. We will play e6 and we will move our bishop out to then castle. If, by the way, in this position you play e6, you will just be fine. Maybe something like knight to h4 is annoying because that's the other thing that h6 does. After knight to h4, you can just put your bishop on h7, which is very useful. So if you play e6 in this position, the only unique line is something like knight to h4, and now you have the annoying thing that your bishop is attacked. And that's how you don't memorize your openings and still find the best move. If I get this position, I will think about e6 first and foremost, and then I will think, okay, why does it not work? And if I can find no sequence where I think that e6 is bad, I will play it. But if I see e6, knight to h4, my bishop going back is not the best. My bishop staying here will lead me to a doubled pawn position and a open king, so why would I do that? And my bishop cannot move to any of these, so let's make an escape square first so that the bishop can go back. And that's how you find these types of moves without memorizing them. Because the Caro-Kann is a very system-based opening, you should not memorize a lot of these things. Now you can play e6 because knight to h4 is not a threat. And after castles, we move the bishop out. Cannot go to any of these squares. So the only square is bishop to e7, and after he makes another improving move and we castle, he can make an improving move. And now this position, think about what will you do. You can pause the video and actually think about what would I do in this position. I see a Carlsbad structure. If you don't know what this is, that's why you are here. This is very, very valuable. If you ever see two pawn chains like this, and especially with pawns here, you should think about this pawn chain points towards here, so you should attack like this, and our pawn chain points like that, so we should attack here. And what this is called in less vague terms is we will start a minority attack. We will use these two pawns to attack this chain. So we will probably exchange these two pawns for two pawns on this side, probably one of these three. But the point is that if these two fall away, this pawn and this pawn is very weak, so we have two weaknesses. If we trade these two for these two, well, the c pawn is a backwards pawn, a pawn that cannot be defended with another pawn, and we do control its forwards momentum okay for now. And let's say we trade these two, and then he gets rid of the weakness. We can just take, and now he has an isolated d pawn, and that's exactly our plan. We will go for this minority attack with e6. A6 prepares b5, b5 prepares b4, and b4 will break apart the chain. Let's say something like takes and takes happens. Now we have an isolated d pawn. We will put pressure on the isolated pawn because that is a weakness. We will put pressure on the weakness, and let's say we win the d pawn. Now we have a passed d pawn. This d pawn is not stopped with any pawns. on all of these files so it can just push forward and try to promote. So you could, first of all, stop his counterplay. Second of all, we always have a winning endgame plan. So after this happens and take, we will try and win this pawn. After we probably win this pawn because it's very, very weak. That's something a lot of lower rated players get wrong. Weaknesses are incredible. You should always try for weaknesses for your opponent because one weakness can immediately win you the game, and that's how you get to that high level. Really just grind weaknesses. So after we win this pawn, which we will probably do, we have a winning endgame plan, which is our passed pawn, but our opponent has a 2-on-1 pawn majority on the queen side, which is always a endgame plan as well. He can push his two pawns, trade it off to the one pawn, and have another passed pawn as well. So we might pressure these two pawns first to try and win one more so that we get into a more symmetrical position on the queen side, and then we just have a clean passed pawn and he has no counterplay whatsoever because the queen side is very, very symmetrical. And if we put pressure on these two pawns and he starts pushing them forwards, we might trade it off ourselves so that he has an isolated but passed pawn, win the isolated pawn, and only then try to invest in our winning plan. If you are winning, there is no need for complications. If you're losing, you need complications. But if you're winning, probably just stabilize the position and invest in your winning plan. If that was valuable, subscribe. If you're not convinced, let's go back to the video. This reminds me a lot about a tournament game from like 7 videos ago ish. I kicked the bishop, or I didn't even, and then take, and he played b4, isolating my weakness. If I make the pawn break, you stop my pawn break. I hop the knight into the weakness, and I'll have something. So I think it's fine. So after take, I do create a backwards pawn. By the way, I might even take with the queen, but I don't think that's all too good. Um, so I do create a backwards pawn if he were to take, and the backwards pawn is a pawn that cannot be defended with another pawn, like my c6 pawn. And it's very annoying when it cannot be pushed forwards. That's why b4 would be a very, very good move. Um, and I drew a tournament game that I should have been winning because of that. So if you know this pawn structure, it is called a Carlsbad structure, and in the Carlsbad structure, you usually just go for a minority attack. What a minority attack is that you push these two pawns to create a weakness. So I already think I have this. You cannot take, I believe, because I'll have bishop take and this pawn is way too weak. I can just double up on this file and then maybe even take this pawn with a threat on your queen. Maybe I should prepare this first so that this comes with more of a punch. So what about rook to c8, applying more pressure? I also tell you a lot about how you go about putting more pressure and exchanging your pressure for something tangible. So I can do this, and after take, you will have some weaknesses, which exchanges the pressure for a weakness, or I can apply more pressure. That's always what you should think about. Do I want more pressure or do I want to exchange my pressure for something useful? If I do this, you are almost obligated to take me. You're not really, but I don't know, it doesn't matter. And if takes and takes with an attack on the rook, move the rook, for example. Now this is weak. I can just put more pressure on this file. Um, that looks very good. Or I put more pressure first. You can stop this, and after I still go for the pawn break and takes, I can take back because of the pin. You will have to move the queen, and I don't see what I gained from that. So I think I will exchange my pressure for something useful right now. So after take and take, I will get a weakness. I will get my bishop out, and I will have this attack and win a tempo. I do have to be careful for something like rook to e3. Kick my bishop has to go back. Kick my bishop has to go back, and rook to c3, pinning my knight to my queen. That might be a bit annoying, but I'm not sure even. So he might allow me to take, by the way. If he takes back with the pawn, he has a backwards pawn. So I should just try that. He cannot play c4. Um, and that's the same thing. He will create a backwards pawn, and I just have to control the square in front of it. And if he allows me to take and he takes with the knight, the d4 pawn will be incredibly weak. And I will be able to exploit that. Maybe not now, but get the bishop out, castle my king first so that I don't get into king safety issues. And then I'll see how I will proceed the game and exploit his weaknesses. He jumps into the center now. So this does not threaten anything. And I'm even thinking, is this not a free pawn because your queen is undefended? So I just take the pawn. With an attack on the queen will have to move. And then I can fork your rooks. What? If I do this, you do have queen check. That might be an issue. Then I have knight to b5, stopping your threat. After takes, I can jump in my knight so that your knight is undefended. So I can do take, check, block, take, and we exchanged pawns, but I get a pass D pawn, so I have a win condition. He has a queenside majority, so he can start a majority attack to create a win condition. I always have this move with a tempo because the knight will be undefended, which will have to move. And then I get awesome pressure. So I have this. Check is probably the only move. I have to retreat. You can take. And I can jump in my knight. Your knight has to go back. And I can even play something. Oh no, I cannot do that. But I can put in my knight very actively, attacking everything, I believe. And then move my bishop, castle my king. I can also take. No. I mean, I'm willing to take, and jump a knight in, but that does not work. So let's go for this. And I'm very curious to see what he wants to do. Um, I think queen to a4 is his only line. So I'm attacking the queen. So he practically has to give me a check, attack my queen, or remove his queen. You can't really give me a check other than queen to a4. You cannot really attack my queen. Except if you take, then you attack my queen, but my queen attacks your queen, and your queen is not defended. So you really have to move the queen, and that's, I think, the only option. So yeah, if I have to retreat my knight back to c6, you really see his plan, but I have this move. And I don't think this is a threat. I can just take, and I will have a queenside majority and a kingside majority, so that should be winning. And I think you have to take because otherwise I will get my knight in here, which threatens your knight, which has to move, and then I have incredible pressure onto c3. So I can probably just take, and now you have an isolated pawn on a open file. That does make my d pawn not a passed pawn, but after I win your c3 pawn, it will be a passed pawn again. And that shouldn't be even hard to win, so I really think that this is your only move. Um, I mean, you might try to attack my knight, but I think that's quite impossible. And I really have to look for tactics. Take, go here, you have to move. And then if I can like take, you're forced to take. Now this knight is unpinned, but that's not exploitable, is it? I don't think that's exploitable. It was a nice idea, but it doesn't work, I believe. So I think takes, and I cannot make this rook move because the bishop would be hanging without this rook, and the knight is hanging, so you don't have a threat, I believe. Is it annoying if you go here? Hmm. Maybe. I could also attack your knight like this. Um, and if you defend it, I still have this, which is nice. So let's actually attack the knight like this. And you can go here, but I still cover your most important infiltration spot. You do defend the bishop. Yeah, I saw that. But you have no check, and I think you self-pinned. So you have this very vague rule that other chess teachers will tell you, never self-pin. That is way too vague. My opponent ran into a pin, so this means that he cannot move the knight without me attacking a piece. And this means that I can put more pressure on this knight, and you cannot move it now because you pinned yourself. So the meaning of never self-pin is that you should think about, is it okay that if I defend this piece that it cannot move anymore? And putting the bishop on f4 makes it so that the e5 knight cannot move. And that's a huge problem because I can attack the knight like this by cutting off the rook. I can then proceed to attack the knight with the f6 pawn. So let's say he attacks my knight. How do I can take a piece, you take a piece, and I take another piece. Or here, take a piece, take a piece, take a piece, take a piece, take a pawn. And then I only won a pawn. So after this, I should look for something. Um, take a piece, take a piece. Um, I really wish I had something with a check, but I guess that never works. Oh, if my queen is here, that's a free pawn with an attack on the rook, but it's quite risky. Oh. Um, apparently that's a move. Um, so I can move here, pinning this, but then after your knight moves, I have nothing. Can I attack your queen? I don't think so. I can't really blockade you. So I think I just go backwards like this. And I still have the same pressure. And you still cannot move. So I mean, that doesn't really fix the problem. And I think now it's worse because you don't even have this pressure on my knight anymore. You will probably have to do this. After take a piece, take a piece, take a piece, take a piece. Take a pawn with a fork. You cannot move this knight anywhere. Ew, maybe you can go to c3 because my knight is still pinned. Hmm. That's annoying. So maybe I should even consider just giving a check or something, castling, so that this pin is gone, and not even going for those complications. Like if he goes here, no tactic works. I even have takes, and you have to take aligning this, and then I can move my knight somewhere, but it never works. Um, you can do that. I moved wrong, probably. So I go here. You can just take. I have to take back, and there is nothing. Did I mess up? I go here, you have takes, I will have to take, and I'm not even up a pawn. I do have a pass pawn, which is always helpful. And then I can get in here, which has to be useful, castle my king. I mean, it's not looking bad, but why does this... Oh, maybe I can go here, and this is a problem. So if I go here, you take, I can take this with the queen. You will have to move the king. I can just take this and I won a pawn. And I think my king is safe somehow. Yeah, so I can again make a threat. And I should also think about what if you take and I take with my knight. So that I can take with a double check, you have to move, and I don't see what to do after though. But I had to think about it. So, yeah, I should be more comfortable if I can castle my king. Cannot lie. So I think you have to take. I'll take. You will have to move. I will take. And do you not have a threat? That looks incredible. How do you not have a threat? You can attack my queen, but that should be just fine. To be fair, I might even have some form of a check, which should be annoying. So, yeah, I think I'm winning a pawn. And otherwise, I will take with an attack and still take. Oh, you can do that. Yes. So, nothing is hanging. If I attack after take and take, you can take with a check. How is he getting away with this? That's incredible. I have a feeling that I'm like missing 20 ways of winning. Um, so I don't know, maybe rotate my queen. I think this, you move. I mean, why would I do that? I cannot do this because after take, you take with a check. Um, I cannot attack anything in your position. So I just have to move. You will probably just attack me. And that's it. Um, that's very annoying, but sure. So let's do this. Castle my king probably, put my rook here so the knight has to move. Maybe I have some takes and I can go back or something if it works. I'm not sure. He might also just try to attack me, which would be useless, but possible. Um, Yeah, and the queen is never getting trapped. If I could move this knight, I have nice pressure on this, but that's not how it works, unfortunately. Maybe after this I have this, and if you go back, I have check, you have to move, and I can move my queen. You can try and trap my bishop, but after take and take, your bishop will be hanging as well. So, I don't know, there are a lot of complications here. My opponent did a chat. DAW. I don't know what that means. Um, I have no clue. Anyway, um, he's from India, so I don't know, maybe it's a language. So I can castle, take a stake, and I kick the queen. So yeah, let's just castle. If you take, I can just take. The queen will have to move. If you move here, I can pin your knight. You do have check, but that should be fine. I can just take. I do have to be very careful of this check, but it should not be able to do anything. And again, I'm just trying to build up some nice pressure. I have a pass D pawn, so I have the only win condition, which should be very, very nice. Um, yeah, so let's just move. Move, you go here. I can check, you move, and move my queen, I guess. Um, I hope he's not trying to make a draw. What if I do this? You can still attack me. Um, I cannot attack your queen, which is annoying. If I just take, you take my queen. There is nothing. Sad. So do I have to go here so that I can maybe take, but then you have takes. So that doesn't make any sense. So I go here so that after take I have take, and I might be able to take and take somehow. Um yeah. If I go here, you go just back, and maybe I can go like this. So I can try to kick you and try to like move to attack this. Maybe that's the solution. Yeah, let's do that. If you just repeat, I can still improve my position. So my opponent is just mainly repeating the moves constantly. So I'm trying to make him repeat while improving my position. So now I have a threat here. You are probably forced to go back, I believe. And I think this should improve my position. Um oh, you take my knight right now. Um is that not a blunder? I can take, and if you take, I have to take. Oh wait, can I take now? I take, and if you save your knight, like this, for example, I have nothing. So I do have to take back. This should be annoying, but not after that. And now I can take a free pawn with an attack on the knight. Right. I take this pawn, I get forked. Um, I mean, the bishop and the queen defend each other, so I can just move and there's nothing. Oh, there is something because you can take my bishop, of course. So after this, can I maybe just attack your queen first? I just attack your queen, which has to move. And if it has to move, I can just take and you still fork me though. Hmm. I don't know. Let's just attack a queen. That cannot be bad. You probably have to go like this. And then what if I take with the rook? I still don't cover c6. C6 is the problem. Um, I mean, you have to move the queen. And then what? Um, I just never make a tread is the problem. If I could make a tread, I am out of the woods, but bishop blocks, self-pinning again. This guy loves to self-pin. Um, I'm even considering like takes. Nothing is hanging, right? I can just do this, attack the pawn, threatening to take. Oh, but if you take, you cover it again, so that doesn't make sense. Um, so I can take, and if you fork me, um, this shouldn't be that annoying. If I do this, you can still jump in, but then I should have some takes. No, maybe not. So I just move, attacking everything. If you go here, I can um take a pawn, and if you take a queen, I can take a queen, and your bishop's under attack, but I don't know, I only have 2 minutes, so let's move. It's a weird situation. Take and take does not make sense. If I take right now, you can just take. Um, I don't know. This situation is very weird. Um, so I want to take. No, I want to take so that you have to take my queen. I can take your queen, and I won a pawn. I have a passed D and E pawn, and I only have to stop your counterplay to win. That's probably it. I could try and move this pawn to stop this, but after that, I cannot. Because you control this. So if I play this and you fork me, I can take with a check. You will have to move here, and that's mate in a couple of moves. Probably, I believe. I don't know, it's weird. I should be winning. But where is it? I don't know. Um, this is probably his only threat. But I think I can just take. Because you're only attacking a rook. If I take with a check, force you to take my queen and I can take yours and you don't have another threat. Now I have incredible pressure on this. And I might even exchange bishop for knight. So I have the only bishop. And I'm up. Oh, I'm not up a pawn. What? When did you win a pawn? Huh? Oh, right here. Yeah, you took and I could never take back. Um, So now I can take, and if you fork me, um, take. Wait, so take and take is nothing somehow. Can I do this, threatening something here? If you make this weakness, I think I should just be able to sack and win somehow. I don't see it yet though. So I do this with the threat of check, you have to go here. Check, you have to run again. And then just take, and I don't have anything still? I mean, he made a defensive move, which is nice. So that means he does not really have a threat. So I can do this and maybe even sack to take or something. I'm not sure, but let's just make a threat. I don't have the time to consider everything, so I'll just make a threat. If this, I can still just move my rook up. So that should be fine. And I might still have a threat. I'm not sure, to be totally honest. Yeah, I don't know. How is this position so difficult? So after this, I probably have to sack the knight, right? To take, rook blocks. And then I have take another pawn and I don't even have a threat. Like, how is that possible? Yeah, so this just stops everything, I think. Damn. Um, I can do this, attack the pawn, and also have the threat of takes with an attack on the rook. Yes. So I'm just trying to make threats. I'm quite low on time, so I'm basically playing on intuition. And how you play well on intuition is just try and improve your position constantly while making threats. And that is not hope chess. There is a big difference between hope chess and doing this technique. This is just trying so that your opponent constantly has to defend. And as long as your opponent has to defend, they cannot attack. And I don't have the time to stop my opponent from making threats and defend threats. I don't have the time to defend threats. So I really have to constantly make threats, keep the initiative so that I can win. So he gave me this pawn. I take. Is this a threat? I can just take, and after take and take, there's nothing. Is the threat to jump in, and if I do this, you can jump and have this threat. Is that a threat? Maybe. But I can always move my bishop back. I don't know. So let's go. All in. If you move, I don't know. I can sack my rook for a tempo. Maybe something like takes, threatening checkmate. So you have to take, and then I can take. But I still don't have a threat there. So maybe I have to take with this threat. So you have to take, and I can take, and I'm threatening checkmate. Um, I'm not sure. Can I take? And if rook take, I have take. Wow. What does that do? Um, If I do this, you have to move the queen. I can take. No, I don't know. Can I take? I don't see your threat. Let's go. So now I'm threatening the knight as well. If you check, I can just take. Here is take. And if you take again, I have block. And you cannot pressure this, and I should be able to make a lift quite fast. It's very risky, but let's go. If you save your knight, um, I should be able to take, and after take, is this a thing? You probably sack your rook for 2 pieces, right? So maybe that doesn't work. Oh yeah, and your knight controls this, so that doesn't make sense. So my queen is very offside. That is probably my biggest issue right now. I think you just save your knight. Oh, what? Oh, I take and you have check. That's not a bad find. Take, check, take. Yeah, okay, that's valid. That's very, very valid. Um, if I take, you take. Shoot, I don't have time. Panic. Let's not panic. Um, you might have a move like this, but I don't think so. I have take, take, and take, I think. And my queen is so offside. That's probably the worst thing about the position. My queen is just not even in the game at all. Um, if I can push this pawn, my queen defends c8. I don't know how to proceed. Um, Panic. Let's go back. I don't know. Don't have time. If I take, I get mated, so I have to just move quickly, and I have to control this. Um, if you do this, I take, you take, I'm probably screwed. You just go back. Um, I think I should. Let's just move the queen to a more active position. I don't know. It's weird. I just want to move fast. Okay. Let's just make a lift. I don't know why I didn't think about that first. Um, that is undefended. And now my king has a lift. I don't know what the purpose of that was. And now I'm threatening to take, and take. Oh my. Okay. Um. So I don't know. Let's go all in. If you do this, I have check, and I'm confident there is something there. Um. Check here, take, and then check, and I go here. Yeah, so let's go all in, and I'm threatening to take and mate somehow. I can take with a check first. If you go here, that's mate. So you have to go here. I have check. You have to move, and then that's checkmate. I think I have it. I think I have it. Oh, you can block. Shoot. I don't have a check. Um, let's move quickly. I don't really know what that move does, but let's move again. And this is almost mate. I don't know. This is difficult. If I can move this so I have some checks, that would be nice. Oh, that's kind of you. Um, okay, that's not kind of you. Um, here. I don't know, let's trade pieces, I guess. Oh, I don't control this. I thought about this, but your queen controls that. Now I have to have a threat. I don't know, let's give a check and see. Give a check, you're forced to go here. I have check, and there has to be something there. There has to be something. Yeah, so I can check. Oh my god, I blundered my queen. Oh, please don't see that. Oh, panic. Oh, he's gonna see it. Oh my god, he didn't see. Okay. I don't deserve this win. I don't deserve it. Sorry, MB, GG. Yeah, I'm gonna apologize. I, I blundered my queen and he didn't see. Um, yeah, I mean, if you learned anything about how to attack a king, subscribe. But yeah, that was probably not the best of games, but it's funny. So let's see. Oh, RAW is his name. Yeah, so that was not a good game, but there was a lot of time panic. The opening is all good. This is not the best, but fine. And after castles and this, I will have done an opening review. So let's not go too deep. That was the best move. Yeah, so I can take and take, but I don't know why. I think I would much prefer the bishop to be a defensive piece, which still controls a lot of very nice squares. So here I kick, yeah, and the one thing I was a bit scared about is take, and b4. After b4, I thought it was a bit annoying. The only thing I saw was like a5, which is fine. And if you defend, oh, I can just take, and you cannot take back. So you have to take back like this, and now you just created a weakness, and this is still a pin. Okay, so it doesn't work. Of course, because the rook is just pinned. Oh yeah, so that is not an issue. You can pin this though, and then I have to prepare to castle. Then you can make this pawn break, and I will probably... Why can I not castle out of it? Because you push. And then I trade. And after take and take, why is this... Oh, my pawn's hanging. And you don't even take it. Oh, because I still have tactics. Okay, so you have to defend this first, let's say. And then I defend my pawn. But I'm in such a passive position, but you do have a weak pawn. So this is a draw. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but I don't know. So he went back, I attacked it, take, and now I'm setting up some tactics. This is not the best move. You should have just defended it with the bishop, but I don't know. Takes is the best move. Acting on this pin. You give me a check and I block. This is all the best. You do this and that's the best move. That's an inaccuracy, but this is an inaccuracy. I should have castled first and the knight is not going anywhere. That's the whole point. Yeah, so if he self pins, there is no rush. I can just activate my pieces first. Fair enough. So that's a great move. This is an inaccuracy. That's a great move. This is okay. That's a great move again. So I have to shuffle, but this is an inaccuracy. So my opponent found like three great moves in a row. My cam is now too big. I really hate the constant switch up of the outlay. Anyway, so that's quite annoying. And after castle's best move, this is an inaccuracy, but this is bad. I wanted to go to d7, but I don't know why, because I self-pin now. But after take and take and take, that's just a free pawn, so that's why my queen had to go there. And this is a blunder, but that's a bigger blunder. Oh, I could have just put pressure on the pinned piece. Ew, and if you take, I take a rook, you take a queen, I take a queen. Oh yeah, I just won the exchange there for a pawn though, but yeah, that was bad. So this is again a self-pin. I said that that felt very bad, but I didn't really have the time. That's a mistake, but this is a mistake. I don't see what this does. Oh, I'm trying to put the knight back so that the queen has to move, and then I can probably attack the queen. You cannot take with a check, and I'm still attacking the bishop. Oh, I can prepare this. Shoot. Yeah, so that's bad. That's again a great move, and I go back again. That's a mistake, but this is inaccurate. Yeah, okay, this weakness is not going anywhere, so I can just exploit it with my knight. That's a blunder. I can take the pawn. You attack it. This is an inaccuracy. Oh, I can just threaten checkmate. And you cannot do this because my bishop still survives. And if you threaten my bishop, then yeah, so you have to sack. I can take and take. And what now? I just make a luft, and if you want this, you can, but you will have to sack a queen for two rooks. And then you will have to stop checkmate with a dark squared bishop, so you cannot do that. I mean, after this, take, take, take. Oh, wait, that's not even winning a queen for two rooks. It's just giving away a queen for a rook. Oh, yeah, so I was so aggressive and I wasn't even aggressive enough. That's quite funny. So after this, go back is bad. I don't know what this does, but that's the best move. And here again an inaccuracy and an inaccuracy. This is also inaccurate because he just blundered a knight in one move and I didn't see because of time pressure. He went back, which was that's a brilliant move. Oh, I blundered my rook and it was a brilliant move. I will act as if that was completely my plan. Great move, take and take. That's an inaccuracy, best move, block. And here I had to defend from the side. Yeah, so that if you take, I take back with a check. You have to move and I probably give a check. Oh, then it's a draw. So I do have to find. Oh, check and I pick up your rook. That's just a fork. Yeah, and that's why I prefer a queen over two rooks, especially when the king is this open. A queen is incredible. That's disgusting. So I had to defend it from the side. Here, this is not the best, and now this is just a mistake. I should have done this, and that does not blunder. Oh, my bishop defense. I didn't even see. Yeah, okay. I wanted to do this, but I thought that did blunder g7. My time was way too low, and after take and this check, that's a blunder. Great move. You go here. Great move, and here. And now, yeah, if I just look for checks, I see my check. Pawn check. No, I take the free rook, and obviously there is a mate here. Like check and probably just sack a pawn. So yeah, I can give this check. Damn, there was a mate, but I just picked the wrong check because I blundered a queen. And but other than that, it was quite a great game. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if I earned your subscription. Other than that, I will see you in the next video.